This is the longest flight I've ever flown, in distance and in time. For the first 45 minutes, we were just messing around at launch, trying to get lift while we waited for this thing called the convergence to happen. Once that finally happened, I was able to transition downrange farther than I've ever even imagined and made it to this place called New Cayuma. To make a long story short, I flew for over 80 miles, and this is how it started. Most of the group met up at LJ's house in Santa Barbara. We then drove to New Cayuma, surveyed Jay's landing zone, met up with Trey, and took a look at the launch site. We could just barely see the antennas from down here. After a 45-minute drive, we made it up to the launch zone and got a closer look at the antennas. From our vantage point here, we could see where we just drove from, but not my intended landing zone. Now, let's get suited up and fly. Here you can see me putting on my pod harness. This is what keeps me attached to the glider. This helmet protects me in case of a crash while I'm near the ground. Waiting for the cycles here on launch, I waited for a nice strong one with the help of John Granold on the wire and gently ran off of this slope and got into the air. Tucking my feet into my pod harness, we're up and away and basically just trying to stay in the air until this convergence thing really starts to happen. Now let's get zipped into this harness and lock into this flight.
Got a little one here.
I said in the intro, this whole flight was about staying in the air until the convergence started to happen. So there was a lot of communication early about figuring out where we could scratch out lift, waiting for the convergence to start to form up on us.
Sweating on my legs, sweating on my arms. But we're climbing at least, and that feels really good.
The hardest parts about this flight is I knew that it would be really cold up at altitude, potentially getting up to 10,000 feet or more. But on the ground or low here with a relative altitude of about 4,000 feet above sea level, it's pretty hot. And so I was really sweaty and uncomfortable. And then I have this moisture built up on the exterior of my skin that's not going to be great when I start to get cold. But it's kind of what you have to do. Talking with your pilots, there's not a great way to stay cold on the ground and warm up at height. It's just hard to do without a true cockpit.
Wind speed's constant, GPS speed. It's dropping to like 7, so that's mostly ridge lift. But that's like thermal there.
I'm using this cool wind gauge on my down tube there for the first time in a while, and it's pretty cool because I can actually see what my true airspeed is. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm in thermal or in ridge lift.
Hello. What up, my guy? That's fun.
One of the best parts about hang gliding for me is flying near and with Bird. And so when this hawk joined up and the thermal slightly above me, I was so excited to fly with him.
We're just kind of waiting for this convergence thing to happen now.
Here I'm just feebly reaching out to the guys on the radio. I'm kind of like, all right, there's this convergence thing I've heard of, but when's it actually going to happen? And they kind of kept it quieter on the radio, but I like to ask a lot of questions.
What's up, John? That's cool. These clouds are like building and then fading, building then fading. It's interesting. Woo! Get another climb on that 5K. Let's go! Yeah, baby. Yeah, I've been fun up here at 5,000. I'm not sure what you guys on those big expensive gliders are doing down there.
Here I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek with the guys on the radio. Since I'm in the Falcon, the cheapest and lowest performance glider on the air right now, I'm just giving the guys with the more high-performance gliders a little crap for being below me altitude-wise.
Rowdy out of the air there. Well, it's bumpy as hell. Pretty sketchy how close I get to the cliff on these turns. It just like drops out sometimes, kind of gnarly. I thought I was going into the antennas for 1 minute there. That was nuts.
A couple spines west of you, John.
Let's check it out.
Willie sees me struggling a little bit, and I see him not struggling a lot. He's getting this great climb out here. And so if we look down in the bottom left of your screen at this altitude chart, we can see I've been scratching around, bumping up and down, but not getting amazing lift. And then we look what's about to happen, and I'm looking at Willie, and I can feel that I'm going to be able to do something great here with this climb. And so I move over with Willie. This is a little top-down Google Earth view. And then I'm really in a new area from before, scrunching around like a little worm. And I'm looking for this big thermal that I see Willie in. And I'm trying to get up where him and that hawk are. So I'm searching around, searching for the lift. I'm pretty low and close to this ridge. Think there's a really good chance for some great lift because he's just shooting up to the moon and going away already from this amazing climb that I'm about to start.
I think I'm in the convergence right now as well. In the convergence. There's no headwind and I'm just going up. Ha! This is nuts. I didn't think it'd be this obvious. It's this obvious. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's so crazy. The air just feels so much more still than it did just a minute ago. Wow, and I'm just going up. I'm in the convergence. Holy crap.
So now I'm in this wild thing called the convergence.
This is crazy. This feels so crazy.
The convergence is essentially when these two airflows meet and then they shoot air up where they're meeting in the middle. So essentially overnight there's this flow flowing west, and then as the air heats up in the afternoon it starts to flow east. Where they meet is a lift band, and once they start meeting, as the afternoon flow gets stronger and stronger, it starts to push that west flow east, and we're just trying to stay in that band as it moves to the east.
So Willie, are you in the convergence all the way up there now, or is it like back to me?
So now that I've started to experience this smoother air, what I'm just trying to figure out is if I'm actually in this lift band, because it's not massive and it depends on the day how big it is. So that's why we're radioing ahead. We're kind of spread out and we're trying to map out exactly how big this thing is and if we're all in it actively or not.
I think I just hit the headwind, so yeah, I'm gonna turn around.
So we missed a little bit of radio chatter there, but Willie basically said that he was starting to fight a headwind coming out of the east, so that wind that is blowing west, which means he's left the convergence, and I think I'm starting to feel that as well. So I start to turn here because I'm looking just for that smooth air. I don't want to feel any headwind if I'm actually in the convergence.
Yo. Oh, that's cool, man.
Everybody over 5,000. Pretty impressive.
So all I have to do now is basically circle around and wait until I start to feel either a tailwind coming from the west direction, which is down on this map, and if I don't, then I start moving east, which is up on this map. So I start to feel that tailwind and start to move east.
I didn't think it was gonna be like that, but there's like at least 7 or 8 crows below me, maybe 10 plus. Interesting.
So you can't see it amazing on this video, but it's important to highlight there was a lot of crows visible down below me here, and it's important because the birds also really like the convergence. It's easy to fly, it moves in this particular direction, so they can use it to their advantage. And so when you start to see a large grouping of birds, it means that you're in the convergence. So right there, I was above like 8 or 10 crows. And so I'm just like, okay, I must be in the convergence. There's a bunch of birds below me, super wild. So I'm essentially just looking down, trying to stay with those birds now. So that's where I sort of slow down a little bit, stay with them. This convergence isn't moving at light speed, so do a little bit of zigzag, try to stay in the pocket and move along with this convergence and not just outrun it. So as I start to push, I continue to move. I feel it coming.
This feels pretty cool in the shadow of the cloud. I can see stuff flying up like little twigs, things like that. I'm gonna try to do some turns here. There's definitely some air moving. This seems to be up. I can see Trey way up above me. I think we're in this cloud's lift. That's pretty prime, baby, pretty prime.
So I wanted to highlight this Google Earth view. I'm just starting to do some nice lifting spirals here, and we're in this lift of this cloud that's in the convergence, and it's definitely one of the fastest climbs I've ever been in, which was amazing.
Man, this view just keeps on getting better and better. This is crazy. 7,000 feet and the lift is increasing. I'm so glad I got the layers. I'm starting to get a little bit chilly. Wow. The lift is just picking up like nuts. And the view is, oh my God. You can see the other side. A sand dune, is that Death Valley? No. Ah, my goodness, dude. This is beautiful. But it is seriously getting cold, my goodness.
We can't see it on video, but Trey's climbing in this thing with me, and the lift is just great. Look at these beautiful spirals as I slowly drift with the convergence.
I might be scared of heights. My God. This is very wild. The planes are starting to feel close. That is nutty. Like their angles look much more head-on than I've ever seen.
So since we have Jay and LJ driving cars for us down this valley road that I'm looking east right now.
John is at 3.5 miles, 9,000.
We start to call out our positions from launch to help them figure out exactly where we are. And it's interesting just trying to figure out exactly how to best say that since my instrument doesn't say it great.
Yeah, good copy. What altitude should I be getting out of here at? I mean, I'm at 9,000 right now, so I think even on the Falcon, I got the highway pretty much on glide.
So I've ridden this amazing thermal all the way up. You can see I'm starting to leave that spiral pattern, and now I'm exploring out, looking at different spots. And then with my altitude, I think I can glide it to the highway very easily, even on the Falcon, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly how high up on this ridge I can stay, or if it's time to start moving out towards the valley or not.
And we're about to be somewhere that I've only been once in my life before. I've been here once in my life, and it was in Mexico. And this is my first time in America. 10,000 feet free flight. Ha! From a launch below 10. Oh! Ha! Ah! Wow, this sport is amazing. The visor is 100% necessary at these altitudes. You can't go without it. It'd be crazy not to. Absolutely crazy not. Okay, I'm going for the move here. 10-3. Gonna push back to these next set of clouds. I'm in the danger zone slightly. I just gotta watch altitude here. Do not want to get stuck back here because flat out would be dicey. I'm experiencing sink right now with a tailwind. So convergence is probably behind me.
So I'm starting to see that tailwind, feeling my speed pick up a little bit as I move in this eastward direction, and so I know it's time to get out of there. I'm losing the convergence, so I'm making a risk. I'm kind of far from the highway, but I know I can get lift if I follow this convergence, so I start moving east and try to stay with it as best I can.
Big time tailwind. Oh, 12-mile-an-hour tailwind. Is that right? Oh my goodness. Wow. So I'm behind the convergence for sure.
So I'm estimating my tailwind just looking at my GPS speed and knowing my glider speed. So when I start to see speeds above 30 miles an hour on my GPS speed, I know that I have a tailwind.
Experiencing a lot of sink right now, and minor, actually basically no tailwind. So I'm just cruising out. I got this road over here now that I feel very confident about. Looks like a decent number of houses here, so I feel confident that's a public road. I got that and that easily in glide, so I'm confident to stay back here because I know they can drive up that road easily. And I have service now. Looks like a dragon.
So it's impossible to see with this camera, but there's a sailplane flying in this cloud, and it looked absolutely wild. 360 camera distorts pretty far away stuff, and I'm relatively far away from it, but I could see it clearly with my naked eye, and I have relatively good vision, which helps. But this thing was absolutely crazy to see. It seriously looked like a dragon because I'm scaled to looking at hang gliders, which are much smaller. These things are like 5 times the wingspan, and it looked so amazing seeing that sailplane up there. It's like seeing a whale breach. It was absolutely amazing. If you look in the very center of this circle, you can see that black outline of the sailplane. Absolutely mind-blowing.
It is such a relief to see that sailplane all the way down there. I was getting so nervous he was just gonna pop out of cloud and just spit dragon fire on me. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm feeling a little loopy, maybe 10,000. A little bit. Also, it's been an hour and a half. I'm gonna take this to 11. Let's get it. Yeah! Woo! 11,000. Let's go, baby. Lowrider just hit 11,000 for the first time.
So absolute banger of a climb. Got up to 11,000 for the first time ever on the hang glider. Felt so good. And I'm feeling like that's probably the top of the lift there, so I decided time to start cruising out a little bit and start continuing to move east down this valley.
Well, very frustratingly, no one can hear my radio for some reason. It's pretty chilly, and I've been cruising out this whole time. I can't believe that I'm not sinking more. I mean, I feel like I might be just straight up in the convergence. Feels like I'm like on a cross-country flight now. Just been cruising this direction for like 25 minutes. That's nuts. This climb is insane.
This is by far the strongest climb I've ever been in on a hang glider. If we look at the altitude chart, we can see that vertical in the red altitude line. It's just, I mean, it's going straight up in this section. So I'm just getting crazy lift. I try pulling in a little bit. I feel like I can get a little bit of control on it, but still climbing a lot. And it's starting to freak me out just a tiny little bit.
So I can dive out of it. That's what I was just checking.
So I do a little test dive, and then I start thinking about it more, and I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm getting some cloud suck. Talking to a lot of pilots afterwards about the conditions of the day, I probably would have been okay just continuing to ride this up. I still stand by my decision of pulling in here and just escaping the clouds because it did feel a little bit sketchy for me, and I just didn't really enjoy the situation. So here, I'm just locked in, pulling. Really glad I had the visor down when I started to do this dive. Once I committed to it, I was just really locked in. I think my frames are synced up here, so I'm actually still getting some lift while I'm pulling in here. And I just like barely start to break it down like once I get away from that cloud. So I think I did have pretty solid lift. So right around here, I start to escape the really strong band of lift. I'm still pulled in, still kind of freaking out. So I just continue to go. I'm getting pretty good speed on the pull-in. You know, I'm going almost 40 miles an hour for most of this. I'm not really in a downwind section, so I think I'm getting like true airspeed of at least 35. It's good to just to practice and know that you can pull away from cloud sec. A little bit of tailwinds here now for sure. We're getting up in the 50s. There's no way I'm pulling that on the Falcon right now. But it's a very unique thing for this flight, because this whole flight I'm trying to get lift, I'm trying to advance, and now I'm just in this situation where I'm getting too much lift and I need to escape it. So it's a complete paradigm shift for me.
That was insane. I was climbing. Still in. That was a lot of power pressure.
Just an absolutely huge dive out there. I'm not even sure if I'm climbing.
Hands are really cold now.
I'm super cold from just accelerating through that air for so long at higher speeds. And definitely the first time I've really felt some cloud sec. Again, I don't think it was an extremely dangerous situation, but my gut was telling me to get out of there, and I'm very glad I followed it because it felt extremely gnarly at the time.
That's the school. That's the airport. I'm gonna do it.
So I finally have the school of New Cayuma in sight, as well as the airport. It means my journey is nearly complete. I've traveled downrange almost 60 miles at this point, and I'm finally closing in on the goal, and I think I have it on glide out now, which is just an amazing feeling. Just an amazing view here, taking in a beautiful cloud shadow. Where that cloud is shading, there's some really cool rock formations that I was semi-interested in checking out, but I was like, I kind of got across this little mini valley here. Don't think I want to push it too far that way. I think about checking it a little bit, but decide it's probably not the play, and then end up heading towards the school.
Man, life is good. This is some of the coolest things I've ever done is on a hang glider. Whew. Hand is freezing cold. I need to get some better gloves for the Owens. Very cool spot to be. These rocks are beautiful. Trey's heading out to the airport. I got the airport in sight. Feeling good. Okay, I'm below 10,000. Not really finding great climbs. Must be behind the convergence at this point, right? Right? I think it's time to start heading to the airport. This is John. I am at 9-8 heading to the airport.
I make a few last little turns here, trying to find just a little tiny bit of lift, and don't find much, so I just start heading directly towards the airport, which was the reach goal for this whole flight, and I just can't believe I'm hitting it. So it's really cool to look on this top-down satellite view and see how the terrain changes as I leave the mountain range. I get into this oil field, and then there's cattle farms and other things like that that'll start to pass over. So way different terrain here.
Air is so much warmer. Even at 9,000, it's so much warmer. There's some sort of convergence going on, and I got tailwind right now. Yeah, glad I didn't go for those rocks. They're pretty far away, actually. So deceptive from up here, how far stuff is, for sure. Man, right hand is sore as hell. These tendons, man. I can just see the color. I mean, definitely cold. So I'm guessing I should have checked. The valley floor must be around 2,000, maybe? I got about 5,000 feet to drop out here, and I'm making pretty good progress, I'd say. I've come a pretty good chunk back off this range, so I think I definitely got that on glide, no problem. That's good. That's good news. That was good stuff.
I'm just trying to calculate in my head if I actually have this glide ratio. It'd be great to have an instrument that actually told me the glide ratio. I'm working on trying to figure out one, but I think I can make it to the airport.
This is like a life-changing experience, this flight. This is just nuts. I swear to God, I've been to that, turned around at that ranch before. I swear that's the one.
I start to hit lift, so you can see those tight little spirals that I did there. I just found a little bit of a climb, didn't have the camera on, shot up for a while, and continued to move out. At this point, I'm really starting to think that the convergence is probably actually relatively close to me instead of me having flown past it or gotten behind it. I think I'm actually still in it, or it's doing some other things, so I can do some more turns and try to lift.
Really cool. Ah, dude, cows are big. Cows are really big. I think I'm near the convergence. The wind is really shifty. I'm getting some lift. This has got to be it. So, about time to land.
I finally have the airport in sight. I'm closing in. As we can see, I'm at a really low altitude point here, looking at the altitude graph in the bottom left of your screen. But I'm still feeling some lift and tumbling conditions, so I'm recognizing that it's probably not a great time to land. I'm just trying to figure out what to do now.
Feels like the convergence is at the airport.
Trey also isn't on the ground yet. As far as I can tell, the convergence is right on top of the airport, which is not great for a guy that's trying to land.
Like you made
affirmative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're climbing again, bros. It's just impossible to get down here. It'd be really, really cool to cross to the other side of the valley. I don't know if that's in the cards or not. Oh yeah, we are so in the convergence right now. This feels like the piston flight. It's time.
I'll spare you the graphic details of the next section of video for that. I tried to relieve myself in flight, couldn't get this flow going. And just circling around, knowing I can't land, I'm going to be flying for a while. Have to pee.
Man, look at that beast. Rotating counterclockwise. Just gnarly looking from up here, man. Gnarly. Flow viz. Double. Another. Talk about the flow viz. Wow.
A little hard to see it from the Insta 360 video, but I'm looking at two crazy dust devils down here. I feel like I'm on the set of Twister, getting flashbacks to my aerospace engineering wind tunnel days, looking at flow visualization. Really cool to see these. Also a little terrifying since I have to go land in that area.
Okay, I just spotted the retrieve cars for the first time. There's airport, water tower, or maybe fuel farm, high school, road. There's my buddy, finally see him, can't believe I didn't see him till now. And then there's the two gliders coming, or two support cars coming off that little thing right there. And these dust devils are cooking. That one just hit the road. I think that other one might have died out.
I can't land, I might as well fly. I'm right above where I'm trying to get to. So I decided to start exploring around this valley a little bit, see where I can go.
This will be a 3-hour flight, that's insane. I'm at 2 hours, 43 minutes right now. Absolutely wild. That's like 10% of my hours in one flight. Man, those watering troughs look like craters. That's cool. Those look really trippy. It's like a painting of a building. Copy. Thanks. Try getting it afterward a little bit. We drop in some. Nope. Not at all. Yeah, I'm feeling ready to land, man. I'm kind of tired. It's a long time in this fucking harness.
So really cool watching Trey fly here. This wing is so hard to see unless it's that lighter, dusty background. It really looks like a B-2 bomber from the top. Pretty amazing. Just love flying with friends, love seeing the homies getting after it. And we're both just blown away at how we're still up in the air, still flying after all of this time. So Trey's finally started to set up for land, and I'm excited to see how he does it. Shows me how it's done.
Man, the altitude is so deceiving. He looks like so low, but he's not that low. Yeah, there's Trey landed. Gonna hop in those cars in a second. There's the boy Trey. Putting her down. Oh, smooth. Yeah, I'm watching them next.
Nice little reminder from the guys there to watch out for the power lines as I come in for landing. Just setting this up, always a little interesting coming into a landing zone for the first time, and extremely interesting here because of this cross-country flight that we've had. I have not even walked this landing zone. Obviously checked it out on Google Earth the night before and kind of talked with it about everybody and during the flight, on the radio, and before the flight, but still the first time seeing this area and landing on it is very interesting feeling. Seeing Trey land before me was super helpful and had a really nice strong headwind here, so it was actually really chill. Put it down nice and easy, and I can't believe my feet are on the ground after all that time in the air.
Woo! Holy crap, what a flight.
Yeah, quite the temperature extremes, isn't it?
Man, I'm like sweating down here.
Thank you so much for watching. It was really cool to go cross country for the first time. I feel like I'm really progressing as a pilot when I do flights like this, and thank you so much for everyone that supported this flight and supports the channel. I really appreciate everyone's help and feedback in this community. If you made it this far, you're in the top 7% of viewers. So I wanted to make a pitch to you to help support the channel even more. If you can afford it, I offer to you this join button as a way to help support the channel even further. By joining, you help me pay the monthly subscription for my editing software that I use to make these videos. But more importantly, it gets you things. Full flight videos straight from my camera, uploaded as soon as I can after I'm done with the flight, and so you don't have to wait 2 months after I fly to see the video. Live links to my flights, a special badge by your comments, and I'll even send you this cool looking sticker if you want it. If you just want to support the channel, no need to fill out the Google form linked after signing up. If you don't want to or can't afford to join, no worries. I still am super thankful for your support of the channel by subscribing, leaving a comment, or liking the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the sky.